Hi everyone, this is BDevine, of course, and I'm going to make sure my volume's right up. There we go. All right, how are you? I hope this is finding you happy and well, wherever you are. And I've got a few things to bring to you today. So, firstly, this is going to be an Akashic record for November 2023. And I've already done one for October, and I do these before the month begins. Okay, so we're going to just go over some of the highlights from last month, but not for too long because I wanted to get into this month. On Saturday, the 28th of October, I'll also be live here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, I think, for my Halloween show. This is a free show. I'm going to be dressed up in Halloween costume, makeup, hair, whatever I want to do this year. Actually, you've got to try to guess what I'm going to be this year. If you already know what it is, please don't guess. It's not fair. So, yeah, and then I'll be doing some readings for you for free, okay? And hopefully I will be able to record the process of the makeup and all of that for my Becky's Devine TikTok channel. This is just for makeup and fun. So there's that one. The Akashic Records. Okay, so this is different. It is something that I have been very much instructed to give guidance for the world about. And I will be honest with you, this is something that I do with people personally for their personal circumstances, for past lives or parallel lives, dimensional energy, healing, different types of readings, forward progressions, things coming in for the future for them as a soul. But at the same time, I'm also giving them advice on how to come to conclusions of their own and to not limit themselves with the information that they might receive, and instead to use it to gain even more information and to heal and to move forward. Everybody's pathway it's your pathway. It's not mine, it's not some psychics, it's not anybody else's pathway, and you need to choose it for yourself. So when coming into this reading of the Akashic Records for the world, already for October, I did make a list. The biggest thing was the Middle East. Okay, the biggest thing was the Middle East. It was like we had to pay attention. Now everybody knows what I'm talking about, okay? There was also water. And there was multiple places around the globe that flooded, but New York was one of them in particular, okay? It was talking about electrical interferences, the need to spend time outside, staying in the high vibration, staying in joy. And you may have noticed in October that many people just do not seem to be matching your energy anymore. And this is what's happening. We're finding, I made a video about it, talking about great big shift that we're all having. And some people are staying split off from others. Okay, so we've got to remain high vibrational, focusing on joy, focusing on nature. Make sure that you're cleansing and clearing yourself, using your declarations and listening to yourself chatter. That's really important. So weaponized weather. It was also talking about giving some other types of advice, maybe putting some of your Lemurians or some of your crystals back in the grounds to help amplify this energy on the earth at the moment. And I'm not talking about crystals that you use all of the time. If you use them, keep them. Every crystal you see around me, I will use at some time or another, or for some specific reason or another as well. So Middle East as well. Okay, so East and West Coast of the United States, yes. and the corruption of the leaders, etc. And so many lies in our face, and we're also seeing those things too. So, all right, so that was just a quick little rundown of October. I have not looked for November. This is why I'm doing these videos with you. So, before I go any further, a little bit of a warning. This is not to bring fear to the planet. This is instead to keep you in a high vibrational state by being aware of certain things that may be coming through so that we can be ahead of the game and start focusing our light onto different places around the globe and decreasing the problems. If you're not doing this work, then if we're all just oblivious to it all, we're not doing any extra work, sending our focus of intention on healing and betterment and rebuilding and all these things, it could be so much worse. Okay, things could be so much worse. I also mentioned the border of the United States, that was getting a worse problem, and it certainly is. Okay, and we will move on to other things for November. But again, I had a couple of people write to me later, and they were asking me whether they should move to a new home. And this is not about that, okay? You are going to know exactly where you are supposed to be throughout your entire life. It's not up to me to tell you where to move or to get out of. Just we're being aware of different places and different things around the globe so that we can start instrumentally helping lift this energy. Okay, I'm also going to include positive things that will happen. If you're not focused on the news, if you're not looking at all of the news, then you're pulling away from it. Say, for example, for me, I come across things. I'm on social media doing my videos, or I'm watching my thing in the morning when I'm having a cup of coffee, and I come across things. And some are ridiculous, and some are, okay, enlightening. So you've just got to take a lot of things, a lot of information with a grain of salt. I get told specifically, Becky, today's the day. So I was not prepared to make this video today, although I knew I wanted to do something this week, but today was the day. And I want to be able to help humanity by opening up the Akashic record for the world and looking at things in a monthly basis rather than it being long projections, okay? And I can only do my best. I'm only interpreting the information. There's going to be no exact thing behind anything because that's limiting. When you're looking at someone else's record, my clients, they can go after having a reading with me, especially if they've had a past life reading, and they can go find themselves on the internet. They can find information about everything that I was talking about, and in some cases, the most bizarre cases you've ever heard of before. You know, my own stories are bizarre as well, but I was still able to find those things. To the point, I was telling you about my own past life that I went through the Akashic record for in Ireland, and it was in a Richmond District lunatic asylum, which was in Dublin in Ireland, and it was in the very early 1900s. It has since changed names, and a doctor who did his psychiatry training went there to that exact place, and he's one of my students. He told me about it. I'm like, when you get confirmation and when you can match things up, that is incredible, an incredible tool. Okay, so these things are really happening, and this is really taking place, and the information that I received is coming from the right place. Okay, and I do a lot of work on that, and obviously teaching people how to do things and protect themselves. I see people go and do these ghost hunting things and all, and they're not protected at all. Nobody talks about it. Oh, let's put a bubble of light, and it just doesn't work. So I've worked long and hard on tools for you all and coming up with the right methods for things, and at the same time always continually working on things so that I can teach you. My Akashic Records training will most likely come next year. Right now you can do half price for the tarot courses, and really, really inexpensive for semester 1, which is where you need to start for your healing journey, and to then go out and help others with this training as well. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I've given you this caution, it's up to you if you want to continue listening to November 2023. Obviously, I can only bring the information I'm shown, and I'm going to have to interpret it in the way that I interpret it, okay? And each month I'll do this for you, okay? And it's really me putting myself out here as well, again, even more, okay? To do this for you all, because I've been instructed to do so. And my spiritual light team have my back always. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my eyes. I'm always going to work with my team and source, angels, Jesus, everybody that's on my team. And I'm also going to call in the Lords of Karma. The Lords of Karma are going to dispensate karmic energy and increase positive energy. And I will just start talking. Most likely going to also open my eyes and just keep on talking, because once I'm in there, I don't need to have my eyes closed to tell you what I'm seeing again. So, all right. So first, I'm just going to set myself up. You can do this little declaration with me. I've already done 3 declarations today, but I am going to do this again. So it's just going to quickly reset myself, okay? And then I'm going to start talking. Deep breaths in and outs. Oh, going to yawn. Deep breath in and out. I'm using a Lemurian, and I'm using a smoky Lemurian. Just listen to my words. As a sovereign being of light, I hereby call upon my spiritual light team, my higher self and source energy. I call upon you now, great beings of light, to be with me and work with me immediately, connecting me into the center of the earth and universe now, opening and expanding my energy field 6 feet in all directions. I'm asking for the Lords of Karma to be with me now and with each and every person that is watching today, and integrate information and knowledge to each person in their own way, amplifying everybody's skills and abilities and increasing healing throughout their entire body. I'm asking for a triple shield of protection to be placed around me now, in all dimensional fields and all directions of time and space, and all layers of my entire being, past, present, and future. I ask for protection to be sent to my past, present, and future now, and that if there is any negative vibrations coming towards me, my home, or my family, or anyone I know, that this also be dissolved and transformed into beautiful, positive light. I'm asking for a triple shield of mirrors to be placed around me as well, so that any negative vibration can also have a reflection of such. I ask for pink light of love to be placed upon these mirrors to balance the energy and transform the energy beautifully and with love. I'm asking for this to be done now through all layers of my being and sealed with love and light, and so it is. So be it, so be it, so be it. Okay, everybody. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to do my thing and start talking. When I look at the Akashic Records for the world, it is a ginormous book. Gold on the excuse me, gold on the pages. November 2023. I'm seeing people scurrying around. I am seeing the Middle East. I am seeing the King of Jordan as somebody who, not to be trusted. There's a problem in Egypt. I believe that there's also some kind of meeting that is in Dubai, because I recognize the white robes, and I recognize the white robes and turbans. They seem to be some kind of princes as well. And then there's a big meeting going on. This is in Dubai. There are more protests, still the east and west coast, and large major cities. I feel Milwaukee, New York, Washington. Something is it's like there's a lot of angry people, and it's brewing in multiple places. I'm not seeing no, I just want to reassure that there will not be World War III. Okay? It cannot happen. There's other reasons for that I'm just not getting into right now. You just do not need to be worrying about nuclear endings, of all of us. Okay? You do not need to be focusing on that at all. What you need to be focusing on is these skirmishes, and all of these problems are coming to a head because of the treachery of governments, okay? And the promises that are made that we don't know about as the people. And those people are getting annoyed because they have not had their end of the deal delivered. They have not had things given to them properly. And United States is not in very good it's not in very good hands, and people don't trust who we have, and that's coming from leaders from other places, because he makes promises he can't keep everywhere he goes, and it's a problem. November 2023. I feel like there will be some kind of a scare. I've got an annoying fly, which I know is them trying to stop me, okay? I'm not supposed to be talking with you about all of this. And I'm not going to stop, so I don't care if this fly is trying to watch what I'm saying. I don't care. I've got to get the message out there. Because that is how insects are used in negative things, to literally keep an eye on you. And there's just one fly in my room, like out of nowhere. See, he's coming past being annoying. The people that, I'm sorry everybody, but the people, and not every single person, but a lot of the people that are coming across our borders in Texas, Florida, California, coming into Utah, Arizona, I'm seeing them pushing up a little bit, Colorado. It seems to me there's sort of, there's some places in the Midwest, but it's not going to wash around here. And they're just trying to, there's going to be things in the paper a lot, because they are grabbing people, grabbing children, grabbing people out of cars, trying to run people off the road. I mean, it's going to get a little bit hectic. Again, we have to keep increasing the light on everything. It's like the royal family is also in the UK, also coming back up again. Some kind of issue. There's also, it seems to be, there's also an overrun of immigrants in a lot of different countries, and I think in the UK as well. There is some kind of naval ship. Some naval ship. It is an American ship, and it is in trouble, in peril. There's going to be some kind of airstrike, I feel. It's because and I'm sorry everybody, it's not about any political party here. This is about people in particular, and we have an extremely weak country at the moment in the USA. A ridiculously, he's a very ill man. Okay, he's just in cognitive decline. You can all see it. If you can't see it, there's something wrong. That there's elder abuse here with this person that's the president, and it's going to cause problems. However, there's also some good news. See, they do not want me talking about this. I'm telling you, this fly has come out of nowhere, and it's a cold day, and it's just trying to get me off track. Okay. There's going to be some good news as well in the towards the middle to the end of November 2023, we're also going to see, we're going to see that there is a some new conditions, some new developments that are taking place, some new agreements that are taking place. But a lot has happened here in the Middle East, as we know, and neighboring countries, and people becoming involved in things. And this can cause a little bit of a ripple effect. But I also just feel like, as much as they're trying to gain momentum, there's something that changes everything as well. And I don't know. It seems to be a multiple snowball effect of things, and all of a sudden you've got things changing for the better. I feel like there is also needed changes in the United States and Canada and certain places. New Zealand may be in the news again as well. I'm trying to keep it to November, but summer's going to bleed through to December as well. We have some refusals in the United States of people that will also not want to be drafted, and not going to do that, because the problem is that the energy of the people coming across, and immigrants, some are doing the right thing, some are coming for bad purposes, and they're all going to rise up and try to take over a little bit. So we're going to see disturbances. I see bombings, I see things going up, I see trains, I see weird things happening with aircraft. I see things happening with a ship, a naval ship, I believe, out at sea, and some kind of problem there. I see some jets, at least one coming over the United States that's not meant to be in our airspace and somehow gets through. I see some problem with the defense. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. I'm sort of getting like a grid or an alert system or something that was not giving the right signals, and we have this aircraft that should not be in our space coming through. This gets taken care of rather quickly. It just seems like there's some erratic types of problems happening. And also maybe there'll be some things that, again, things are skyrocketing because of the spending that's happening, but it's also more than that. So it's going to be appearing this way, but it's actually so that it can be harder and harder and harder on you to live how you've been living. But as again I said to you, that there's a way out of everything that I'm telling you here, and that is to continue to raise your vibration, continue to manifest. Okay, you want to draw the timeline of your highest abundance towards you now. Okay, you want to focus on that coming here rather than you trying to reach something. Okay, that you're drawing it towards you. You are focused on joy. You are spending as much time outside as you can, and you're focusing on light spreading. You're focusing on collapse of anything that is corrupt, whether it's something that you've, even if you believe something is good, if anything is corrupt, okay, you're going to start seeing one thing after the other begin to fall down, because it has to do that. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem, of people being driven out of their own homes. You're going to have such an amount of people just coming in waves, trying to kick everybody, us and anyone who owns their own spot trying to take it over, and that will develop if we don't all begin to really focus together, because it's one thing about banding together, but we've got to focus together, right? We've got to focus this energy on what we want to see. For the last 3 years, we've been told that there's going to be all of this money going and gone, and we're going to be using all of these other things. I just think that while there's so many dealings happening around the globe like this, and just trillions of dollars is going to places that we should keep our nose out of as well. Things will increase, making it more difficult. However, once again, if you're on that higher vibration, okay, and you keep staying up there, remember there's a big split happening at the moment. People who want to just do nothing but complain and moan and eat at you, that is not a healthy it's not a healthy energy for you. Okay, there's going to be some kind of coming together as well, like massively. Okay, enough kind of thing is happening. It's definitely going to be Egypt to watch as we move forward a little bit more. King of Jordan. There will be a all right, I'm told to be careful. I'm trying to be careful because I want to stay with you through all of this and not be thrown off of YouTube and all of that sort of stuff. At the same time, I really couldn't care less because I know I'm protected, right? But by the end of this year, let's just put it that way, everything that we're seeing right now is going to be completely different, in a good way, in a better way, okay? And we will see changes in the government here, Canada, in Congress, in Senates, in just like people are going to be disappearing kind of thing, like they won't be there anymore, or they're going to step down, or they're quitting, or big CEOs of big companies just suddenly vanishing. Nobody knows where they are. It's the bigger event, the bigger shift is taking place. I also have this I do keep on seeing like more with regards to water and things like that, but I'm also feeling there's a lot of things underwater. There is submarine action. There is other things that are taking place under the water that we don't really even think of right now as well. Let me just close my eyes for a moment. Okay, something at the Capitol. What is that what is that thing? Not the Capitol building. The big obelisk. What is it? The George Washington Monument. Something I can see happening towards that. There's people are protesting a lot. There's a lot of more like problems with cars and carjackings and things like that. People getting dragged out of cars. the escalation is going to be intense for November. At the same time, on the other side of this, you have to also remember that sometimes things have to get so bad in order for people to really start to stick together, rather than worrying about whether the next person is using the right terminology to describe the other person. That doesn't matter. What matters is blood. We've all got blood. We've all come here for a reason, for a purpose, for a different life, for a better life. And we do not want to go backwards or allow history to repeat. Right now, the energy of Pluto, okay, is in Capricorn, I believe. There's going to be a little break from that. And then next year, it'll be in Aquarius, which is the humanitarian energy. So this brings up an abrupt change in 2024 to, you know, what we're thinking, what we're doing, how we're feeling as well. There seems to be some kind of outbreak of, I want to say the COVID thing, but I think that there's something else that may have been dormant for some time, some other type of problem that was around with places that had contaminated water and things like this in the past. It feels like there's a problem a little bit with water supplies. I see something about a church in it's got a huge steeple. I feel like this is, I don't know, I'm just getting South Carolina. There is some church, massive big white steeple on it, and there's going to be a problem. Anyway, positive things. There's people that have been working on this work, okay? If you've been working on your spiritual journey, if you've been working with the light, if you've been working for changes, if you've been working with your angelic team, if you've been working with your declarations, if you've been working on healing, you are going to have a larger role, okay? It may start getting incredibly busy for you. So you have got to know what you're doing. You better be able to answer anything and fix things, okay? With all of the knowledge that you've had over the years on this channel in particular, you should know what you're doing by now, right? Because there's going to be a real need. There are a lot of displaced people. There's more water as well coming into New York. I mean, there's just a lot happening on the East Coast. As I said, on the West Coast, there's a little bit coming up through the middle of the United States, but it's starting to creep in like this, come up like this, and towards the top where Michigan is, Canada, Wisconsin, Maine, some sort of thing in Maine as well, at some port there. This could be also interconnected with this naval ship. So if you're doing this work and you need to start to every day, every night, don't panic, okay? That is not going to help anybody, no matter what you're doing. No, don't write to me and say, should I leave my home and I'm scared, because I'm going to tell you not to be scared, and I'm going to tell you to focus, use your intuitive impulses. You're going to be where you need to be, okay? And it's not like we're going to be all running around like chickens with their heads cut off anyway. We're going to have to pace it out, because the things that, when a negative force is trying to work on you, okay, let's put it this way. If a negative force is trying to work on you, they're going to, number one, try to break down your defenses, okay? They're going to break down your defenses. How? How does a negative energy break down your defenses? They make you afraid of something. They make you start to lower your guard. They make you start to focus on your kids or your family or da da da, or whatever else is going on in the news. Don't watch the news. Okay, if something comes up on your social media, it's probably got more credit than the actual news stations have. If someone's filming from the actual place, or someone's trying to tell you stuff from there, maybe that's got more, it's more, true. It's truer. So if someone is trying to frighten you or lower your vibration or make you scared, that's not a spiritual person. It's not a good person either. This is not about making you scared. This is about making you empowered to move forward. And also, that sometimes you have to do things that are uncomfortable. For me, it's doing this, right? Because there's nothing in me that wants to mislead anybody in any way. But I'm telling you so that people will start being aware and we can start fighting back energetically and spiritually. Okay? And opening yourself up to trusting things. Things have to come. We've known this for a long time. I wrote it in my book in 2013 that it will come crashing down around us, which does look like this. People acting up, illegal immigrants, coming and causing problems for the citizens. It was only a matter of time before that was going to start being a really big problem. Not saying that when you come to the United States and you do it legally, then that's fine. Okay, you do things in the right way, that's the sort of values that we should have with every single country, that there's a right way and a wrong way to do something, and that it's got to be fair, it's got to be equal for all, right? And it's just a broken system at the moment. So this is going to have repercussions. However, if we all start to say no and we all start to push against this, there is more of us than there are of them, the negative people in the world, and the negative leaders and all that sort of thing. And we are able to lift our vibration above all of this 3D world, and do that by focusing on where you're going, what you're doing, your healing, your self-talk, the joy, okay? Connecting with the right people, that's going to become apparent to you. Who's right in your energy, who's not? Who's wasting your time, who's not? Who needs to be closed off right now? Okay? As hard as that is, it has to happen sometimes in our lives. I don't know very many people that would get great delight in having to let someone go out of their life. The whole reason they're around is because you don't want to have to let them go, right? It's just how it is. But there are some people that just love to cause you distress. They love it. It's the highlight of their day to drive you crazy. Okay? And the whole point of being on this planet is to go through a journey, your journey, what you asked to have before you were born. Okay, you wrote down some things, some life themes that you wanted, some things that you wanted to work out, some things that you wanted to be born with, some things that you wanted to have later figure out for you, some contracts and connections with other people, some that you need to recognize are just idiots and they're not meant to be in your circle at all, but you've kept them in there for God knows what and for too long or whatever else. There's some people that need to go. There's some people that have too many chances, and this doesn't mean that you're sending hate to anybody. You're with love, dissolving connections, with love only. Love is the only way through any of this, because God knows there's enough hate and there's enough greed, there's enough corruption. And I'm sorry, but people who are in positions of power need to hold great responsibilities, and they do not. They hold their own selves you know, as the most important things, their own families, their own money, their own legacy. You know, there's very few people who would, you know, put other people first, or give to the world, right, without it being something that they can gain from. Like, and I'm talking millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know, people in the Middle East, in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, you know, there's just millions and millions. It's just so wealthy. If you've ever been to Dubai, you can see the airport for yourself, and it's like, oh my God, this is just the airport. They don't need, um, they don't need anything, right? And they hold a lot of power. I'm telling you. And this Middle East skirmish is not going to be something that can just blow over either, because all teams, let's just say, believe that they're correct, and all teams are sick and tired of it, and all teams have been given millions and billions of dollars. So they're going to play sandcastles for a while, and people are going to be sadly displaced, lost, you know what, killed, unfortunately, missing. People from people who are there, who are in other countries or from other countries, for example, you know, military, you know, people that are over there from other countries, you know, we've got to get them out. This needs to be a priority. We don't need to be putting more people in danger at all. And I feel like it's going to appear to be just never ending, and then there's change, okay? And it's a much, much, much needed change as well. And this is really due to the work of the light leaders around this globe that are doing this work daily. You know, not the people who are stealing other people's information, stealing other people's things, sending nasty messages everywhere, trying to send people off of track. They're not going to get anywhere. In fact, they're not going to be in your sphere. So this is also about a dimensional shift of people even more pulling away and lifting up and not listening. Now, you're going to have your moments where you're going to have fun, okay? And you're going to have a few drinks, or you're going to go to a party, or you're going to just really let your hair down, and you're going to just let loose, right? You're going to have those times when you're going to really want to do that. Make sure that you're always protected the whole time. Also, there is an increase. I don't know if you've noticed it already, but I certainly have, as someone who is a guide and obviously a healer. There's an increase in people's erratic decisions and behaviors, doing things they wouldn't normally do, acting in bizarre ways. And in some of you, you have a lot of tension in your homes. Just all of a sudden, strange people going, you know, whatever. And then they'd act like this wasn't a big deal. And it might have been something that you're just feeling this tension about. And then they're like, oh, I don't know what you mean. It's like not a big deal. They're not even remembering how they're acting with things. Now, I've noticed this occur over the last few months, of bizarre circumstances, behaviors, people not remembering what they're saying or doing, how they're acting. They believe it's the first time they've acted like an idiot toward you, perhaps, or towards someone else, and you've heard about it. Whatever it is, they're acting like it's the first time that it's happened, when it's probably the 50th time that it's happened, you know? So with those things, you are going to notice it's almost like glitches in the matrix. You're going to notice that because time is flipping around a bit, all right? So you are your past lives You are your present self. You are your future self, all and selves, all at the same time, which is another concept that many of you aren't going to get right now, and that's okay. But use the strength that you have within yourself and in your spiritual team and in your spiritual groups, if they're positive, if they're supportive. You know, we have, with the Light Leaders Academy, we have Telegram groups, and we support each other on a daily basis and check in. People share their stories, and we all jump on it and, you know, help the next person. We help our neighbor, basically. We don't even, you know each other really in person. And it's spreading out. It's spreading out to their family, their co-workers. Everybody is benefiting when people have got their shit together, okay? You see what happens when people act erratically, don't you? And we're not even talking about, you know, we could be talking about people making bad decisions just in our everyday life. People who are running red lights and stuff. What happens? Everybody else is suffering for someone who slams the brakes on, and then there's a chain reaction. You get what I mean? Right? So everybody suffers when people are selfish, and they are thoughtless, and they are angry, or they are focused in on somebody else. This is when all the problems happen. Jealousies turns to hate. Sorry, every single time it does. As soon as you're jealous of someone, unless you can nip it in the bud and work on yourself, it's going to turn into some kind of problem. Because if you don't address how your brain is festering, how you're overdoing it, I'm always telling you about this because this is something that I also had to conquer in my own life, because so many things were happening in my life for so many years that there was an inner expectation. Okay, the shit's going down. It's just a matter of when. And I was quite like that. And lo and behold, well, I was never wrong either. Every time I thought there was a problem, there was a problem. Every time I thought there was an issue, there was an issue. Every time I started stressing, there was more. Every time I worried about bills, I got more. Every time I worried about not having, I didn't have. I had to struggle more. It was, you know, walking here. The car wasn't going. I didn't have a license. I had to walk everywhere. I had to drag kids everywhere. I had to do this. No family. No, and I was like, poor me, the whole way through. Like feeling sorry for myself, which most people do on a daily basis all the time, and actually tell you about it all of the time. I kept it to myself. Some people internalize their like sorry for themselves attitude. They only they know about it, that they're spinning this thing. But the freedom comes for you not through somebody else. My husband says, you know, too many people have a savior complex. It doesn't come from people coming down from outer space and picking you up and taking you by the shirt and going, here we go, we're out of here. If it does, it's going to come because that's what your focus is on the most, and that you're just expecting nothing less, and you're manifesting this big change in your life, right? Jesus is already here. Okay, Jesus is with us all of the time. There, you know, it's not going to be a oh, only these certain people are going up to heaven and that sits there, everybody else, you know. God is not an awesome God and he is going to just destroy all. That is not what it is. Okay, and it's not what it was meant. It was not meant that way anyway. And so you go through the book of Revelations and talk about the horses of the apocalypse. They're the angels, right? It's bullshit. Angels don't do. How can an angel all of a sudden think to itself, well, now I'm going to, for the good of all, I'm going to destroy everybody. And we're just going to suck a few people up into heaven with us and start again. Because an angel doesn't think negatively. An angel doesn't think in limited ways. An angel doesn't think that one person is more important than anybody else. They don't. People think that way. Control, 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 control. And I don't care, because the religious people have given me so much shit, and people like me for far too long, that it's caused these problems and these judgments and these issues and these nervousness and all of this anxiety, and you can't say this and you can't say that. It's bullshit that we don't want on a new planet. We don't want this in our energy field. I don't want it around me. I don't want someone second guessing me all the time. I don't want people judging. I don't want any of it. I keep it the hell away from me. That's why I have very, very, very close-knit circle. That's it. And from there, I'm able to do what I'm doing, teach, share, bring social media people into this circle of blessing the earth, rather than cursing it all of the time and cursing their lives and cursing other people and forming hate groups and this, that, and the other. It's coming together regardless. It doesn't matter what your preferences are. It doesn't. If the focus is on light, the light has already won, by the way. But if the focus is on light, the amplification of that is absolutely astronomical. The amplification of darkness is the same. What are you going to do? What's it going to be from now on? Running around with your head in the sand, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, oh, and thinking that someone else is going to shelter you, from the sky and block you is bad. It's a trap. So we have to throw our shoulders back. Okay? We have to know that sometimes through a lot of chaos and crazy comes the most brilliant turning of events. People come together. People say enough is enough. We are sick and tired of it. We're sick and tired of how we're being treated. We don't want to treat each other this way, and it's going to take an energetic effort. It cannot be something that we're all going around door to door and trying to grab and link each other's arms and, okay, now we're going out into the world and let's all stay shoulder to shoulder and do it this way. That's not going to work. We have learnt how to connect with each other worldwide. It was the best thing that could ever have happened to us, even though it came out for corrupt reasons, the internet. It's here now. This is the lowest version of the internet that there is anywhere, because we already had far greater technology than this before. So, the messages that I'm receiving from the Akashic records of the world is that this is go time, that there's going to be a great, great, great change. But in the fulcrum of change comes a lot of things one after the other, and you've got to stay the course. You've got to hold fast, right? You have got to remain tough, right? And you've got to just do not let anything pull you off of your way forward. No, I don't want to hear it. No, not listening to it. No, oh, you want to be all abusive? Delete, block. Oh, you don't like this and you want to pick on me for some reason, or my friends or whatever? Block. It cannot be in your sphere. It cannot be in your energy. Like I said to you, my friend told me, I just hung up that phone for good. That's it. The phone's going down. And I actually had on my piece of paper here something from the phone call that I was having. And he asked God so many times. And he said God stopped responding, so he got quiet with me. He said, God got quiet with me, so I stopped asking. And he said that, he sort of stopped looking in the direction of the religious pathway, because he could see that was full of rules and do this and do this and do this and do this, and you can't do this and you can't do that. So it was like not even a balanced lifestyle. And when you feel like you have not got this connection anymore because there's so many rules connected with it, you will stop trying to ask for anything. All your job is on your journey is to, as I've said it before, my friend got me a sticker so I can put it up, is to increase joy and lessen suffering. Increase joy and lessen suffering. When something doesn't feel right to you, it's because your higher self, right, is showing you that that is not part of a high vibe lifestyle. It's not part of the happiness road for you. Something doesn't feel right, it's usually not. Okay? Sometimes we're warned that something's not right for us. That's a little bit different. Okay? And you need to listen to those things as well. If you are asking the universe and praying to the universe for someone or something to come and rescue you, okay, it's not going to happen. But if you give thanks for the help, if you give thanks for a doorway of opportunity, if you give thanks for the right people to connect with you and come into your life, you will get that. Why? Because you have an expectation of it already happening, because that is the way that you've asked. When I open up the Akashic Records, it's a lot of advice as well. It's a lot of information all at once. I'm not supposed to be some kind of big Nostradamus here, okay? I don't want to be. That's the whole point, right? But I can tell you this right now. A negative pathway is going to equal more negative pathways for you every single time. A hateful and vengeful person is going to end up with things like heart attacks and cancer because they're actually hateful and vengeful towards themselves and projecting that on others to make themselves feel better. Emotions and stresses and problems and issues and all these things like this create a cesspool of problems in your physical self. When your emotional self is damaged in more ways than one, and then you couple that with no protection in more ways than one, and then you couple that with situations that are out of alignment in more ways than one, and it just keeps on going. The physical body has no choice but to give you signs that it's in distress throughout your body. Some people say, oh, I'm not even worried about that. Well, your body's worried about it because you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G problem going on in your life right now, in your body and all that. Oh, but I'm not really worried about it. Your body's worried about it. So there's something deep inside that is causing an issue, a flare up, a problem, a return of something, you know? I used to spend a lot of time in my life working out and trying to have this, fit body and everything because somebody told me I was fat, and I believed them, right? I'm like 100 pounds, but oh my God, let's get this fat off. And I'm a bigger girl now, and I don't even care. I'm as healthy as anything. I can lift things. I can run if I want to. I can carry, heavy loads of stuff. My back doesn't hurt. My legs don't hurt. My joints don't hurt. My shoulders don't hurt. If I have something that's going on, I'm like, oh, I'm having an adjustment, an alignment, and it is gone within a couple of hours. If I have a headache, I'm getting some kind of information. I cleanse and clear myself, and away I go. If I want to drink a whole lot of water for the day and juices and fruit and that, I'll do that for a few days and just back myself down, and then I'll go back to whatever I want to eat and whatever I want to think and whatever exercise I'm doing, because my body, mind, and soul connection are finally really, really connected. And that means that the physical body has no problems. It may not look like $1 million, and I may not look like I used to when I was kickboxing and playing netball professionally for a super long time. And but at 48, look at this skin. I feel great. I can walk 5 huskies in one arm at a time. You know what they're like. And if you have one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Whoa. But, the strength is there. The strength to do things. That's what you want. Why do you have to get older and then just start going, oh, well, I'm old now. And, it's about time to slow down, isn't it? I have to get someone to come and do that. And I have to get someone to come and do that. You can't buy a property and think someone else is going to come and do it all, because you ain't going to be able to afford that, all those jobs. My husband, 7 back surgeries. He does anything that he went up on top of the roof he's up there on top of the roof the other day, working on these holes and things that we've got to fix up on the roof. But he climbed right up and I'm like, I'm holding the ladder at the bottom, like, okay, I'm on it. I'm standing at the bottom of the ladder because I didn't want him to slide. It was like a windy day, and the roof goes up. So these are the sides, and then it goes like that, and then it goes like over. So it's like this funny shape over. So when the ladder got up to the flat parts, and then it goes over a little bit like that, you've got to try to precariously get your feet up there. It was something to see. Okay, 7 back surgeries, multiple painkillers. Doesn't take anything. Doesn't take any of it. Can do anything he wants. Anything he wants. So, you can win control over your body. You can win control over your body. If you have an issue with your body and you're overdoing things, and then you're going to start working out like a maniac, when you stop and you go back to eating regularly, you're going to double up on everything again, and you're back to where you started from. You have to do everything in moderation. You have to allow yourself. Same with smoking. If you're a big time smoker, you have to stop telling yourself that you have to quit smoking. I'm going to give you this thing right now. Instead, you need to give yourself permission to be able to slow down, take your time. Don't have to have one right now. Delay. Because what you're doing then is that you're not giving yourself an ultimatum that's going to lead you to fail. You're giving you something that you can succeed at, and thereby can eventually just fade it out if that's what you want to do. If you don't believe that these things can harm you, right, and you truly don't worry about it, they can't, because you're completely in control of your body. Not many people can do that, though. So you give yourself successes. You give yourself things in moderation. You don't have to cut out all sweets and things like that. But you allow yourself, you give yourself permission to have one if you want one. And when you're ready to stop, you stop. And then it's not such a craving, I've got to have it. And it will just naturally die off. When you join the Light Leaders Academy, you don't have to stop anything that you were doing in your life. But you're going to eventually fade out of things that are no good for you because you're changing so much. Okay, it's not that anything is changing you or making it happen. You're doing it for you, and it works as fast or as slow as you want it to. This is the problem. Native Americans, I talk to Sitting Bull. I don't care what anybody says, okay, because that's my spirit guide, and that is the most amazing medicine shaman I've ever seen in my life. And he always tells me, there's just this massive confusion, because they used to have their peace pipe, they'd smoke their sweet tobacco, they would smoke whatever they wanted, as giving thanks, as calming, as sitting back and enjoying. Like people sometimes sit back and they're at the end of the day, they have their wine, they sat back at the end of the day and had their peace pipe. Maybe they had it all day, didn't matter. Because it was the honor in what they were doing and why they were doing it. And he often says to me, why is it? He's saying to me, I'm explaining to someone about the work that we're going to do, or the shamanic healing or whatever. And he says, Why so many questions? He's like, why aren't you just doing it? And I'm like, well, because people need to know exactly from A to B to C to D to Z now before you can even get started. So he's like, so if they're coming to you for a healing, but they don't actually believe it's going to work. And he's just like, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I'd really have a hard time with that one as well. But that's the way that society is right now, or has been for quite a while. Because I have often laughed about this and said, can you imagine going to Sitting Bull and saying, well, is it going to work? Or I don't really feel anything. If you have a doubtful mind in the beginning, that's all you're going to see is doubt. Again, you go into things with the expectation of something happening, it does. He doesn't understand why we can't just get there. Because we've just been programmed with distractions and people being overly supported, or explained things to, or maybe they've had a bad experience. I've said all this to him. Things are different now. People have had bad experiences, so they have to understand how different something is before they will open up to allow it to happen. He said, they come to you. Isn't that your permission? I'm like, yes, technically. And their subconscious knows why they're coming for a healing and what they really need. But it's getting Mr. Stupid out of the way, which is your conscious mind. That gives you a whole lot of BS, which causes overthinking, which causes stresses, where it just goes on and on. So Sitting Bull's way is the way to do it. You come, have a healing, you expect a healing, you allow a healing, you believe in the healing, you listen to the instructions given to you for your healing, and you will have a healing. You come for a healing, and you doubt, and you fight, and you expect it to be done to you, but you don't really believe it's going to be done to you, and then you go, oh, it never really happened then, did it? And then you go away, and then you get angry, and then you get bitter, and you get twisted, and you go to another healer, and you don't believe, and it goes on and on and on. Same with your abilities. People come and they want to open their abilities. Well, hang on a minute. You've already got abilities. Why don't you start believing in those? Even if you don't see what I'm talking about yet. Believe. Work on it. Don't doubt yourself for a second. Lift yourself. Stop being in the same patterns all of the time and expecting a different result, like Einstein said. Everything is about imagination. Your imagination leads you to the part of your journey, okay, that you haven't imagined yet. Part of the journey where everything is revealed. All of your abilities will all of a sudden open up. I said, what's next? For me, I'm only talking about me. And this was next. I had to open up the Akashic Records and start doing readings for people again on those things that I had not worried about. And open this up for myself, help my clients to not have to do so much self-discovery and instead go through a realization. Not have to go through so much search, but go through more acceptance. You see? Not have to understand everything all of the time, but just have this knowing and this feeling and this sensation like, oh my God, this is happening to me. This was me in the past. This is me on a simultaneous, because everything is happening all at the same time. We know this. This is what Nostradamus knew as well. He's like, well, I'm right here. Where do you think I got all my information from? Hello? People who were already in the future, in their timeline? Huh? And I just asked them questions about the future and I got my books written. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what I get for me as well. Okay, I'll get my future self to help the present self get to the goal much faster by adjustment of your thought, your feeling, your directions, your words, your actions, your deeds, your laughter, your joy. Joy is everything. If you're not laughing your head off at least once a day, something's wrong. What's wrong with you if that's not happening? And there are people alone, I get it. I can still laugh at myself alone. Maybe I'm just one of those types of people that make myself laugh. I don't know. But, finding joy in being alone and being good with that. I came to that realization in my life. Having the right partner, it's everything. If you're wasting your time on a grumpy person that's not on the same path as you, someone who's always this and that and never there and not the things that you want, what are you doing then? Oh, well, I can't go because of da-da-da. Well, things happen. Things shift, things change, things lift. And we should not be wasting our time in idle things that don't mean anything, right? When I wake up in the morning, I get myself organized. I come into my office, which is here. And I've still got more things to put in this room, actually. And I do my declaration first thing. I light my incense. I light my candles. I start shuffling my cards. Start talking to me, okay? Start writing stuff down. I got books and notepads and notepads up the wazoo from my writings, okay? I don't, at the moment, know how all these writings are going to come together, only that they will. And that's not my main preference at the moment. My main preference is talking, making multiple videos a day, bringing those through readings, bringing healing to people through readings, opening them up to have a good day, opening up for the changes of the day, opening them up to a different perspective, giving them a place where they feel comfortable. Ask yourself, what do you do to make people feel comfortable every day without losing sight of who you are? I don't mean by giving up all of yourself to give to somebody else. How do you give a message for the day for somebody else without asking for anything in return? We have free readers. They do just that. That's because that's what I used to do, remember? And I still do it to this day. Help someone for nothing. Give people things. So what? Give people things. God, someone needs help with a clearing or something. Do you think I'm going to go, well, you need to go down? I will help them. And if they're truly wanting me to spend hours and hours and hours and hours with them, time and energy exchange need to happen. That's just how it is. But I do help people and I offer support for people. And there are groups where, now everyone's working it out on the light leaders and on the tarot groups and things, and they help you for free. Because they're seeing the benefit in that for everybody. It's doing your part. It's helping people, right? As best you can. Some people work with animals all the time, or help animals, or, ones are on the side of the road, and just, everybody's doing their thing as best they can. And that's all that's ever really required on you to reduce the suffering on the planet and increase the joy, right? To stop worrying about yourself so much in comparison to other people, or what they might think, or what they might feel, or how they're acting, or what their body looks like, And girls, if you're not happy with your body and all of that stuff, where's that come from anyway? Like, who has told you anything? Like, why have you believed them? If your body's not healthy and all those sort of things, get to the bottom of the emotion and you'll get to the bottom of the problem. And then start to give yourself successes in your life instead of all these hard, rigid things that you got to climb through. I used to do that P90X thing and really hard workouts and all that, like, weights and everything. And never really saw much change in my physicality at all, right? It was still there because the sadness was still there. The original problem had never been addressed, you know. So throughout all of this video, obviously you're going to get these messages and information. Overall, there is a need for the light leaders, the spiritual people of the planet, you know, the people who have really, really understood energy and are focused on healing. I don't care whether you do Reiki or whatever you do. Start doing a daily thing for this world. Every day, every night. Takes you 5 minutes. It becomes it becomes something like brushing your teeth. Send it out. Empower the world. Empower the good. Continue to empower the good. Okay, know that there are things that we are going to see throughout our lifetime that we are not always going to be in line with or agree with, but we have to focus where we want to be, and soon you will be able to pinpoint in on the things that you want. Like, it'll just be like, you know, precision, zoning in. Okay, I'm going over here, boom, there it is. Oh, I'm going there, boom, there it is. And it's just there, rather than being far years down the track, you know, before you can get anywhere. It's here, in the here and the now, because you've drawn it to you instead of going to it. You're working out all of your traumas, okay, and you're not wearing them anymore as badges of honor. There's none of those on the other side. Everybody's equal. Okay. So for November, big changes, of course. We will be able to know exactly what we need to be doing. But the biggest thing is, and it's always going to be this way, is focusing your energy on where you want it to be. Focusing your dedication and your connection with the light on the world. Okay? Be humble. Do your work. Help as many people as you can along the way. Smile. If you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. Okay? It might be the only smile they get all day. Open up yourself to see where you're blocking yourself with your own healing pathway. You don't have to all be in, you know, really bad shape here. You can bring yourself into alignment with the most attractive, or the most fit, if you want, capable body that you've ever had on any dimension, and bring that towards you now. That'll get you going. You'll suddenly know exactly what you need to be eating and drinking and what you need to do, and for the most part it's going to be moderation. Okay, sending all of your blessings. You know where my website is, BDevineOnline.com. Readings galore. Okay, half price tarot course. It's like $380 or something, and you can get started at the end. You can get working if you want to, and connect with all of us. I'm still in the readings group with you all. Still in the light leaders 1, 2, 3. Still doing semester 3, which is all intergalactic shamanic work, all kinds of things. Do this work. Be armed with knowledge. It's your best friend. It's the thing that saves you. It's having the knowledge, you know, and the wisdom to use this knowledge to help others. Okay, and I hope that this finds you well. I will see you on live Saturday evening. Can you guess what I'm going to be this time? I'm going for nice things, and you know, nice just looks. Okay, so I hope it will turn out well. I don't know yet. We shall see. And it's all for a bit of fun, and plus I'm giving you free readings again. So I hope that this finds you happy and well, and until the next time, blessings to all. Bye for now. Bye.